Would it surprise you to know that 5% of revenue is lost annually to fraud? Well, what if I told you that 2% of all invoice payments are duplicates? At first glance, those percentages may make these seem like small issues. But when a multi-million or billion-dollar company assigns dollar values to them, those numbers become quite significant. And the reason they exist is the lack of sufficient controls to identify them. Cash leakage, keying errors, and fraud can go undetected for months before being discovered. Companies have always relied on preventive and detective controls, as well as control monitoring, to identify any risk that could impact their bottom line. So, when it comes to invoice payments, errors such as duplicate entries or overpayments should be easy enough to avoid. However, even with multiple layers of controls, it is unfortunately common for duplicate payments to pass through without being detected. To illustrate, let's imagine this block of Swiss cheese represents your existing controls. From the outside, everything looks solid. Yet, when you slice it, every piece has holes in it. As we walk through the example, let's pretend these slices of cheese are different layers in your control process. To prevent rogue spending, your policy requires a PO to be issued for every non-emergency purchase. Additionally, all invoices are required to be processed through your ERP system. Used as a preventive control, your ERP system can identify duplicate invoice entries if 4 specific fields are identical. Invoice number 123, dated 6/1/2022, and the amount of $500 on ABC vendor is submitted and approved. 2 weeks later, another invoice is submitted, number 132, with all other fields identical to 123. The ERP does not detect the duplicate entry. With no recollection of the previous invoice, the supervisor approves the second invoice. The detective control has failed. The next audit is 2 months from now, which is part of the control monitoring process. So, even with multiple layers of control, no risk was detected. The story doesn't have to end here, though. With the recent implementation of the Oversight solution, a new layer of controls now exists. Once the second invoice is submitted for approval, Oversight uses AI technology and advanced data analytics to identify a fuzzy match with 2 transactions. When the invoice images confirm the suspected duplicate entry, a staff member reverses the second entry before it pays. Now, isn't that a better ending? Our clients seem to think so. In fact, many Oversight customers have achieved an ROI in as few as 3 months, resolving issues just like this one. When existing controls cannot catch every keying error, let alone wasteful spend or fraud, Oversight will be the firewall that catches the errors and real risk that are often missed and potentially costly for organizations, so that nothing gets by you. See it all, spot the patterns, steer the future. This is Oversight.